Ozy Media began as an ambitious American media and entertainment company co-founded by Carlos Watson and Samir Rowe in September 2023. Promising to deliver on stories focused on the new and the next, Ozy aimed to carve out a niche by spotlighting rising stars, emerging global trends, and unexplored narratives. Headquartered in Mountain View, California, with a presence in New York City, the company sought to disrupt traditional media with a futuristic vision, innovative storytelling, and an emphasis on multimedia platforms. Despite attracting prominent investors and partnerships, Ozy ultimately became a cautionary tale of hyper-driven entrepreneurship fueled by exaggerated metrics, fraudulent practices, and questionable leadership. Ozy's eventual implosion in 2021 revealed systematic ethical failures that not only discredited the company, but also raised concerns about broader patterns of unchecked ambition in the startup and media industries. From the outset, Carlos Watson, a charismatic Harvard and Stanford-educated entrepreneur and former Goldman Sachs banker, positioned Ozy as a forward-thinking alternative to legacy media. Alongside his co-founder, Samir Rowe, Watson pitched Ozy as a platform that would tell stories overlooked by mainstream outlets. Stories that celebrated global diversity, innovation, and opportunity. Ozy's core mission revolved around four key pillars: spotlighting rising leaders, trend spotting, multimedia integration, and audience engagement. Ozy Media wanted to profile young politicians, tech inventors, cultural icons, and change makers who had yet to achieve widespread recognition. It also wanted to highlight emerging cultural and societal trends that would define the future. Ozy Media also wanted to position itself as the media outlet that was tailored to millennials and Gen Z audiences. These audiences, Ozy felt like, were seeking depth and inspiration and fresh perspectives. Ozy quickly developed a tagline, "Ozy will make you smarter sooner," that underscored its inspirational branding. Ozy's early momentum relied heavily on attracting influential investors who bought into Watson's vision. Emerson Collective gave $5.3 million in seed round funding in 2013, and it provided both funding and prestige as a Silicon Valley heavyweight. Axel Springer, the German media conglomerate, invested $20 million in 2014, validating Ozy's global ambitions and signaling support from legacy media. GSV Capital gave Ozy Media $10 million in Series B funding in 2017. And Mark Lassery, the hedge fund billionaire and co-owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, lent a $35 million Series C funding round in 2019. Additional funding came from organizations like the Ford Foundation and angel investor Ron Conway and entities like iHeartMedia. At its peak, Ozy claimed to have raised $83 million and valued itself as a forward-thinking unicorn in the media startup space. Watson often touted Ozy's profitability, publicly claiming $50 million in revenue by 2020 and forecasting continued growth through an innovative business model encompassing digital content, podcasts, TV productions, and events. These financial claims, however, would later unravel under scrutiny, revealing inflated numbers and widespread misrepresentation. Ozy's strategy involved diversification across multiple platforms, aiming to engage audiences through newsletters, podcasts, TV programming, and live events. Ozy's digital magazine was the foundation of its media empire. The platform focused on profiles, highlighting emerging political leaders, artists, and entrepreneurs, trends that were covering cultural phenomena and global and societal shifts before they hit the mainstream, and also stories that were overlooked about countries, communities, and individuals. The Ozy Daily Brief, its flagship newsletter, sought to deliver must-know stories to a dedicated subscriber base. However, Ozy's reported audience of 20 million newsletter subscribers was later called into question by a third-party analytics company, Comscore. They suggested it had a far lower engagement. Ozy entered the podcasting space with a mix of history, trends, and interviews. The first podcast was The Thread in 2017, a highly acclaimed series connecting seamlessly unconnected historical events and figures. And then The Future of X, a podcast exploring emerging trends in technology, healthcare, and society. Ozy partnered with major networks and streaming platforms to produce video content. The Contenders on PBS in 2016, a political docu-series exploring pivotal elections in U.S. history, Black Women Own the Conversation on the OWN Network in 2019, a series of discussions on issues affecting Black women, which won an Emmy Award, Defining Moments on Hulu in 2020, a series featuring interviews with high-profile leaders including John Legend and Mark Cuban. Despite these achievements, Ozy often misrepresented its programming partnership, leading to accusations of deception. For instance, talent was promised distribution deals with A&E, only to discover their content was uploaded to YouTube, or Ozy's own platform. Ozfest launched in 2016, a hybrid festival blending music, comedy, and conversational panels and celebrity appearances. Marketed as Coachella meets TED Talk, the event featured celebrities like Hillary Clinton, Wyclef Jean, and Alex Rodriguez, and comedians like Trevor Noah, and then there was also chefs like Rachel Ray and thought leaders like Stacey Abrams, Deepak Chopra, and Mark Cuban. The festival attracted attention, but faced logistic and credibility challenges. In 2019, it was canceled, largely due to a heat wave, but it garnered comparisons to the Fry Festival as insiders alleged inflated attendance figures and chaotic organization. Ozy also awarded $10,000 grants to college students to support creative and innovative projects. One notable recipient was Amanda Gorman, the poet who later performed at President Joe Biden's 2021 inauguration. Ozy's downfall began in earnest in September 2021 when the New York Times exposed the company's fraudulent practices. In a shocking episode, Samir Rao, Ozy's COO, impersonated a YouTube executive during a February 2021 conference call with Goldman Sachs. The incident was to secure a $40 million investment by claiming Ozy's videos perform exceptionally well on YouTube. Goldman Sachs representatives grew suspicious of the distorted voice during the call. Upon reaching out to YouTube directly, they discovered the deception. Google's security team flagged the incident to the FBI, which launched an investigation. Then there were other allegations of fraud. Ozy claimed 20 million newsletter subscribers and millions of video views, but third-party analytics revealed a far smaller audience. Watson also allegedly presented false contracts, including a fake Oprah Winfrey Network deal to secure loans. Revenue claims were also exaggerated to attract investors. For example, Watson reported $12 million in revenue in 2017, while tax records showed less than $7 million. In the wake of the scandal, Mark Lassery resigned as board chairman and major advertisers severed ties. There was also a staff exodus. Then Ozy Media announced it would cease operations on October 1st, 2021. Samir Rao and Susie Hahn pleaded guilty to fraud charges in 2023. Carlos Watson was arrested in 2023 and charged with securities fraud, wire fraud, and identity theft. Prosecutioners framed that Watson was the orchestrator of a systematic deception to inflate Ozy Media's value and secure funding. If convicted, Watson faces a sentence of up to 37 years in prison, marking a stunning fall for a CEO once celebrated as a visionary leader. Ozy Media's rise and fall highlight systematic problems in startup culture, particularly within the digital media industry. The fake it till you make it culture. Founders often rely on exaggerated claims to attract funding, hoping to deliver the results later. Ozy's case demonstrates the catastrophic consequences of crossing ethical lines. But there also has to be some investor accountability. High-profile investors overlooked red flags, prioritizing charisma over due diligence. Ozy Media exemplified the pitfalls of chasing growth metrics at the expense of sustainable journalism. Ozy's collapse is not merely the story of one failed media startup, but a cautionary tale for entrepreneurs, investors, and audiences alike. It serves as a stark warning about the dangers of unchecked ambition, hype, and fraudulent practices in an increasingly competitive and scrutinized digital media landscape.